Hey guys, this is Friday's video. We'll stop shaking. There we go. So today we're starting something new. This week we talked about rounding, we reviewed rounding, and then you finally took your unit test and your lesson 4 test this week. So today we're just going to start off real easy, and I'm going to explain multiplication to you. First off, I'm going to review pages 2 and 3 from last year, and then we're going to go into your 4th grade stuff. So when we are multiplying, you are working with equal groups. Look at the shells. Okay, so each circle is a group. So 1, 2, 3. We have 3 groups of 2. So we have 3 groups of 2 shells. That's equal. Okay, that's multiplication. We cannot do it if the groups are unequal. If you look right here, you still have 1, 2, 3 groups, but each group contains a different amount. We just can't say, well, 3 groups of, well, no. It doesn't work like that. You have to go 3 groups of 2. And that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, let's think of this. When you have equal groups of objects, you can multiply to find the total. The groups are called equal groups when they all have the same number of objects. So group 1, group 2, and group 3 are called equal groups because they have the same number of objects in each group, which is 2, like we said up there. So we would write 3 groups times 2 objects equals 6. So 3 groups of 2. Okay, now this is a little, you can see it. Okay, the picture can help you see what multiplication means. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the groups. Okay, so we have 1. I'm not going to circle, never mind. I'm going to draw squares. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 groups of 4 balls. Okay, that's 12 balls in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that means 3 groups of 4 objects equals a total of 12 objects. Now, when it comes to multiplication, you have some terms you need to know. Okay, the very first term that you need to know is called a factor. Now, the factor, or the factors, are the numbers that are being multiplied. So this is a factor, and that's a factor. So you have 2 factors. Okay? 2 factors. So whenever you read in a question that says, what are the factors in this problem? You're basically saying it's the 2 numbers that are being multiplied. Now, anytime you see the X, that means groups of, it just means you're multiplying. And then the most important is called the product. Now, the product is the answer or the result. So anytime you read, hear somebody say, what's the product? You are multiplying that problem. It's kind of like when you hear somebody say the sum or difference. Sum is with your addition, difference is with subtraction. And then when we get into division, you're going to hear the word quotient. But for right now, we need to deal with product. Product is multiplication. You need to get that in your head. When you hear the word product, you think multiplication. Now, when you see 3 times 4 equals 12, you say 3 times 4 equals 12. You can arrange arrange equal groups in rows and stacks on top of each other and call them an array. So an array is basically an organization of a multiplication problem. So for this one, I have 3 rows, 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows of 4. Same thing. But with multiplication, the good thing about it, I can do this. I can say 4 rows of 3. You get the same answer. Because with multiplication, this is like addition. With multiplication and addition, I can flip-flop the numbers and still get the same answer. We can't do that with division or subtraction, but you can with multiplication and addition. Okay, do the chairs in your classroom make an array? We don't have a classroom, but I will tell you that mine do not. No. The chairs are arranged in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 unequal groups. See, because that's how my room is arranged. I do not have an array. I do not have something that looks like we are grouped in equal pairs. My class, it goes from, I have 4 desks over here with different chairs, 4 over here, 2 and 2. I have a group of 4 and I have a group of 6, and then I have 2 tables in the back. So you couldn't easily come in and count the rows, count the columns, and do a multiplication problem like it was when I was in school, because there's some desks that are arranged like that, but mine are not. So that is basically the understanding of multiplication. Let's see, 3 words that we need to remember: factor, which are the numbers being multiplied, or actually it'd be factors; product, which is the answer; and then an array is the arrangement of equal groups in a multiplication problem. So these are 3 terms we need to remember. All right, now let's get on to the 4th grade stuff. Understand multiplication. Now this is lesson 5, and we're going to start with thinking it through. What are some ways to think about multiplication? Well, you have looked at multiplication as joining equal groups. When you know the number of the groups and the number of objects in each group, you can simply multiply to find the total. For right here, I have 1, 2, 3 groups of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. So I have 3 groups of 5, and that gives me a total of 15 stars in all. So the equation 3 times 5 equals 15 is what's represented up here. Multiplication can also be a way to compare 2 numbers. Okay, if you want to find the number that is 3 times as many as 5, you also multiply. So what you could do is you could say you want to find a number. Okay, you say, so your number, which we're just going to put in because number, is equal to 3 times 5. So what I would do is first, I would do an array of 5, just like this. And then I would do it 3 times. So this is 1, 2, 3. So I know 3 times the number 5 is 15. So I'm going to compare the number 5 to 15, and that's 3 times. All right. You can draw a model to show 5 times as many as 3. So you just have to do the groups of 3 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I said earlier, we can flip-flop the factors and the product is still the same. We can do that. Okay, so let's look at this down here. You can think about multiplication equations as two comparisons. For example, the equation 5 times 7 is shown as two comparisons. You could say 35 is 5 times as many as 7, or you could say 35 is 7 times as many as 5. What it's saying is it's saying 35 is equal to 5 times as many as 7. Or it's saying 35 is 7 times as many as 5. That's all it's saying. Now, we're going to look down here. It says on the line below, use words to describe the two ways you can think about 8 times 5 equals 40 as a comparison. Well, basically, all we have to do is look back up here. So, my first one would be, and you start off with the product. So 40 is, oops, messed up is I'm going to use the 8 first, is 8 times as many as 5. And then my second one would be 40 is 5 times as many as 8. So that's basically multiplication in its simplest form. So anytime you see something like this, you know the big number is your product, and the two smaller ones are going to be your factors. Okay, so product right here, and this is a factor, and this is a factor. All right, now that is all for the video notes, and I cannot stress the importance, guys, of y'all practicing your multiplication facts. Go to the Dollar Tree. You can pick up a $1 pack of multiplication facts, but when you do, make sure they go all the way to 12. You'll thank me when you get to 5th grade. So just work on those. You can make your own. You can go to several different websites to track your skills and so forth. But anyway, that is Friday's lesson on multiplication. Remember to do your practice and problem solving, stay out of trouble, and have a good weekend.